Hey guys, it's Yuta. So there are mistakes that non-native speakers make, and there are mistakes that native speakers make. And there are life mistakes such as showing up at the wrong airport, which I've never done in my life because London definitely doesn't have too many airports. So today, I will talk about Japanese mistakes that Japanese people make. Number 1. Yakubu Soku, which is a famous word for being misused. Yaku means role. Fusoku means lacking. So Yakubu Soku means something like role lacking. And what do you think it means? Let's say somebody offers me a voice acting role in an anime. If I say, this job is Yakubu Soku to me, which of the following do you think it means? A. I'm too good for this job. B. I'm not good enough for this job. C. I'm a fucking voice acting god and even Hiroshi Kamiya asks for my advice. The answer is A. Yakubu Soku means the job is not good enough for you because you are overqualified. But many Japanese people think it's the opposite. They think it means that they're not good enough for the job. Imagine somebody offers you a job and you say, oh, it's Yakubu Soku, thinking you are saying you're not good enough for the job when it actually means the job is not good enough for you. You can come across as a little conceited. So it's important to learn what expressions actually mean. But you do now, so you can go ahead and say Yakubu Soku. But if you want to use it, you need to learn Japanese first. And if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese the real-life Japanese people today actually speak, which can be different from the kind of Japanese that textbooks and apps teach you, so click the link in the description and subscribe. Number 2. Koronaka, which is a pretty topical expression. Corona, of course, means coronavirus, and ka means calamity, so Koronaka means something like coronavirus crisis. This expression is often used in news articles as in due to Koronaka. But the problem is, this kanji, ka, isn't very common, and many people weren't familiar with it before the pandemic. So when they started using this expression, people were kind of confused. This kanji kind of looks like nabe, which means pot or hot pot. So some people thought it was like Japanese hot pot of coronavirus. And it also looks like uzu, which means whirlpool. So some people thought it was a whirlpool of coronavirus. I remember Koronaka was trending on Twitter because many people didn't know what it meant. So this is a good example of how Japanese people don't know every kanji. They only know the kanji they know. Number 3. Tori and Tori. People make spelling mistakes in their own language, and I've made videos to show that Japanese people don't necessarily know how to write all the kanji. But even with hiragana, which is a phonetic script, some people make mistakes. For example, there's this word, tori, which means something like street or avenue. The correct spelling when you write this in hiragana is tori. But some people write tori, which is incorrect. They make this mistake because of how we pronounce the word. To-o-ri is pronounced as tori with a long o sound. But in Japanese, ou usually also becomes a long o sound. So if you write to-u-ri, it also becomes tori. So tori and tori end up having the exact same pronunciation. If you search for this on Yahoo Answer, which isn't the most intellectually sophisticated place on the internet, you can see many people make this mistake. This is actually a different word with the exact same spelling, but the same thing applies. Number 4. Nasake wa hito no Tamenarazu. This is a saying that can directly be translated as sympathy is not for other people. What do you think it means? A. Sympathy is not good for other people. B. Sympathy is good for you. C. How am I supposed to know the answer when I'm already failing at hiragana? The answer is B. It means that if you're sympathetic to other people, it will eventually be beneficial for you because of the good karma. But this is confusing to Japanese people for a couple of reasons. First, this structure, noun and narazu, is kind of archaic. In today's Japanese, it would be something like tame de wa nai, which makes it easier to understand the original meaning. Second, Tamenarazu reminds of people of the expression tame ni narazu, which means not going to be beneficial. So if the saying was nasake wa hito no tame ni narazu, it would actually mean sympathy is not going to be good for other people. Tamenarazu means not other people's benefit. Tame ni narazu means not good for other people. So this tiny word ni changes everything. Many non-native speakers find particles quite hard to understand. Native speakers usually don't have problems with them, but maybe when it comes to Old Japanese, Japanese people can also be confused because Old Japanese has slightly different grammar and vocabulary. Number 5. Shikigatakai. Shiki means sliding door threshold. Takai means high. So Shikigatakai means the sliding door threshold is high. What do you think it means originally? A. Feeling intimidated to go to a restaurant because it's very fancy. B. Feeling awkward to go to somebody's house because you made a mistake in the past. C. Feeling discouraged to watch an anime without subtitles because Japanese is difficult. The answer is B. For example, you go to an izakaya, get drunk, get into a fight, and get kicked out. Now you feel awkward going there because of what happened. That's the original meaning of Shikigatakai. However, most young people don't use it for the original meaning. A and C are actually how people use it today. You can say, oh, it's Shikigatakai to go to this restaurant because it's very fancy and expensive. You can also say, oh, it's Shikigatakai to watch an anime without subtitles because Japanese is difficult. Because that's how people use it today, some dictionaries started adopting these meanings. Still, a lot of websites say that the current usages are wrong and you should use it for the original meaning. But if you go around and tell Japanese people that the way they use it is wrong, you might just come across as an annoying pedant. In reality, what textbooks teach you doesn't always apply in real life. So if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak, which can be different from the kind of Japanese that textbooks and apps teach you because they can be unnatural and outdated. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta. Alright, see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao!